Warning, this is Digimon, the review on Digimon Season 1, also known as Digimon Adventure in Japan. No audio, video clips from both versions of the show. Pictures such and such were used in the making of this review, seeing that they belong to Saban Brands, Toei Entertainment, and just about everybody else that is important. This is a review, meaning my opinion, but please leave your comments and regulations on the season talked about in this review. Thank you, and be prodigious. Well, guys, Digimon Season 1, where do I start? This 13 episoder turned 54 episoder practically saved my life from depression. I won't lie to you, I have extreme favoritism to the Adventure 1 and Adventure 2 arcs, but seeing that this is one of my season recap reviews, the gods are coming off. And seeing that Nicktoons is currently airing season 1 all over again, trust me, they're about to end the Myotis Monarch today as we speak. Big, the show is getting ready for a big, huge comeback later this fall when the new season, Digimon Fusion, also known as Cross Wars, appears in the States after a 4-year hiatus for the Digimon franchise. Digimon was Bandai's older teen skew answer to the widely renowned Gigapets. You remember Gigapets in '96? Every little girl had them, and some little boys. But we won't get into that. And also, they were an answer to Tamagotchis as well. But largely, back in '96, the harder, edgier Digimon was ignored from the Gigapet crowd, seeing that Pokemon had just hit the wayside in the States, was practically taking over like a viral epidemic. So the Tamagotchi style pets were no go. But thanks to Saban Brands and Toei Entertainment, Digimon got a second chance in both Japan and the West as an animated series, only allotted for 13 episodes originally. Originally, the show debuted as part of the September 1999 lineup of the Fox Kids television block, which at the time was the most dominant Saturday morning block of the blocks. Also debuting within that block was Power Rangers Time Force, the last true Saban season, another show similar to it called Metabots, the failure of a show called Galador, and also Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century, as well as returning favorites for that lineup, Mystic Knights of Terra Nog and Big Bad Beetleborgs. Yes, I remember the entire lineup. Digimon Season 1 is a pretty simple story at the beginning. Seven, seven children while at summer camp find that the world is having glitches of sorts. Chocolate rivers, the Aurora Borealis showing up out of nowhere, snow in the middle of summertime, things like that. Strange power outages, computer problems, and such. But these seven kids are oblivious to all that until a freak snowstorm hits their Japanese campsite. Each of the char- each of the characters is introduced by the animatic leader Tai Kamiya. Of course, his full first name is Taichi Kamiya. For those that know the Japanese series, and he is voiced by the brilliant Joshua Staff. Now, Tai is quite the hothead, and he wasn't necessarily the leader of the ragtag group of kids at first. You know, he's very brash, very courageous, but also very prepared, which is a perfect contrast to Matt, who was Mr. Joe Cool in his simple jeans and a tank top look. But he was the older brother of two. TK, the youngest of the first seven, was Matt's imaginative and sometimes over curious little brother played that played perfectly the Matt's kind of soon to be discovered overprotective attitude. Sora Takanuchi and Mimi Takawa made up the girl contingency. Sora was the nurturer and the caretaker, while Mimi was practically the needy bitch of the group. Wearing pink, acting in the typical chick forte without going too crazy. The team was rounded up by the character that I took my high school nickname from, Izzy Azumi, the smart one and the prototypical nerd of the group. And Jeremy Belcois, you could learn a thing or two from Izzy Azumi because he actually did shit. He was practically the save the team's ass whenever the team needed a technical problem fixed. And the oldest of the group and the most level-headed of the group, and last but not least was Joe Kiddo. Sure, he was at first the Fluttershy of the group, being scared of his own shadow and such, but the character became likable over time. See, these seven fall into meteorites that give them small devices that they will come to refer to and know as the Digivice, and then they are utterly sucked waterfall first into the logic-bending digital world. A world based on digital data, child's imaginations, wishes, and anything of the logical but yet unlogical, and they run into each of their seven partner Digimon in training forms. Each of the meetings come out as natural and likable, and you are quickly introduced to their more memorable by nostalgic and factor rookie forms. Ties being Agumons, Mats being Gabumon, Sora having Diamon, Mimi having Palmon, Joe having Gabumon, TK having the overpowered, as we'll find out, Patamon, Izzy having Domon, Mon, and so forth. Now, the first episode does a great job at establishing plot line, and base, and much like the Koglioka review, I will tell you what episodes are good and what episodes are throwaways. So let's get down to the good stuff. And God, seeing that this season is 54 episodes long. How many of them are actually good? Well, taking a head count of just about every episode that I remember remember of the series, about an astounding 49 of the 50 by my count are good to go. But I will mention I will mention three episodes in particular with this disclaimer if you haven't seen them. Spoilers up. Most notably the episode 21, Home Away from Home, which acts as a massive foreshadowing spoiler to one of the most major events of the season. You see, the season is divided into four arcs, with the initial 13 being known as the Digimon arc. This arc pretty much establishes your basic arc of Digivolution in training the rookie to champion. While the next arc, and the most boring arc honestly, the Etamon arc, introduces the ultimate level and the seven crests that each of the characters wields. Now, of course, you're not watching the show currently, this is not spoiler, but for those that are, this is. The seven original crests are knowledge, friendship, sincerity, hope, my personal favorite of the bunch, courage, courage, love, and of course, reliability. Each of each of the crest traits relate to the character's either personality or something about their character that is a likable trait. The other monarch quickly goes through the discovery of each of these crests, but also shows the negative effects that the crest can have on each of the Digimon partners if not executed correctly through ties quote-unquote accidental digivolution of Greymon into Skull Greymon. Skull Greymon being an out-of-control ultimate with a big freaking nuke missile on his back. And he looks like one of Spinal's Unforgotten Brothers as well. But you see, what Digimon succeeds in is what Pokemon does not. The overarching plot in everything and character development. You see, episodes that would normally be deemed as filler, like the Piximon Cometh and Etamon Comeback tour, and end up being great character development pieces. But the major arc that everybody remembers is the Myotismon slash 8th Child arc, in which the 8th Digidestin taught his younger sister Kari Kamiya, voiced by 8 is Enough star Laura Jill Miller, who also does a ton of kids shows nowadays, including Sophia the First, but most notably on a major level for most, is also remembered as the voice of Juniper Lee for the Life and Times of Juniper Lee for Cartoon Network. Network is the soft-spoken, but often most caretaking member of the Eight, with their Digimon partner, the formerly evil Gatomon, who just so happens to digivolve into the female equivalent of the overpowered Angemon. It is due to this that the fourth and final level, Mega level, is unlocked. And trust me, the 3D used for that Digivolution scene is impressive. And yes, much like any good show of any kind, the theme song must be noted. Paul Gordon's addictive, memorable, and catchy theme song gets stuck in your head relatively quickly, and is mainly used a lot once the group gets past the first 13 for Digivolution scenes. After the Myotis arc, there is there's the major arc, the Dark Masters arc, that introduces more megas in play and brings back all the sub-characters from Arc 1 to, unfortunately, spoilers, get their lives iced one by one until the Digidestined ultimately prevail and meet their ultimate foe, Apocalypse, which in a very impressive two-parter looked intimidating, powerful, and the defeat for Apocalypse is appropriate to the whole notion of team play. Which, that's really the big difference between Digimon as a series as compared to Pokemon as a series. The emphasis on teamwork and character build. You see, unlike Pokemon, Digimon speak complete and perfect English, actually carrying actual conversations with their human counterparts, and even being the perfect foil or opposite to their personalities oftentimes, which made them the unique opposites attract for business, especially in the terms of Matt and Gabumon, a relationship that developed throughout the course of the season and is primarily a mini arc within the arc of the final arc, as Matt tries to discover the true value of friendship. It's funny. Maybe you should have talked to Twilight Sparkle now more days. Maybe she should have given Matt some heads up tips from the future or something about the subject. But there are many moments where the characters are isolated throughout the season to add further growth to them, about Sora's relationship with her mother, Izzy being an adopted kid, Joe's Joe's sense of reliability ultimately becoming a source of courage and strength, and even TK's journey into self-reliance and independence away from his brother as Matt's off on self-discovery. Every character in the series gets an arc like this, and it's really important and big, and why the show succeeds on so many levels in terms of this. It's absolutely impressive, even looking back after so many years and so many watches. Trust me, I've watched these episodes about 10 to 12 times or more. That's why I can remember them off the top of my head. from the starting episode, and so it all begins the begins the fate of both worlds, season ender, which does a great job at foreshadowing Digimon's second season at the end is really impressive. Impressive. Everything from the music, which a lot of it was strangely used by used in Saban's very quickly debunked Mass Rider series, which was a spin-off of Power Rangers, fits the series quite comfortably without getting in the way. Everything is pretty much on a wire and linear, but you get enough information and enough character depth and detail where you want to stay in for the duration of the season. But however, about those episodes I mentioned before Home Away from Home being a major spoiler because it pretty much, for those that haven't seen the episode, spoilers, sends Tai after the defeat of Enamon, back into the real world on August 1st, the day that they left to discover that his little sister Kari knows all about Digimon and can physically see them. At the end of the episode, however, you see an eighth Digivice respond to the opening of the dimensional portal that is created at the end of episode Fight. If you're trying to enjoy the Myotis Monarch, there's absolute fullest. Skip this episode especially. And also do yourself a favor and skip the title intros starting with the episodes starting with the episode starting with the episode out on the town until you get past the episode The Eighth Child Revealed. You see, because for some odd reason at this time Saban Brands decided to update the intro. Unfortunately, when they did this, they put Kari in the intro during the arc in which she was supposed to be quote unquote discovered. This is a majorly bad move on the part of Toei and Saban. Sure, if you watch Home Away from Home, the anticipation of actually seeing Kari included could be a good thing. But in terms of plot continuity, the fact that the intro spoils the fun before it can even get around to this point is a massive negative. Com- combine combine that combine that with a few duds duds of episodes like Princess Karaoke, and you've got a few duds of episodes in there, but by and large, all 54 are watchable, just not all 54 actually retain to the plot. And another negative, the only fact that two megas are introduced Wargreymon, and Metal Garurumon. The fact that the Digimon trading card game at the time had the Mega Forms for all the original 8, and we only see 2 other Mega Forms for the original 8, 8 later in Digimon the movie, which, by the way, if you haven't seen that Katic review, go and check it out, my Katic Reviews playlist. Definitely after watching the Digimon Adventure 2 review coming soon. Also, there is some censorship in the English version as compared to the Japanese version. Some scenes are supposedly more adult on the Japanese side. Now, I don't know about this because I never watched the Japanese version of the show, only the English one. If I have the option between English and Japanese, I usually go English. And so that's why I wouldn't know. But the lack of inclusion of other ultimates, the other 6 ultimates, is other 6 megas is a giant letdown. Especially seeing that I never got to see the mega form of Hercules Kabuterimon. That would be the mega version of Izzy's Digimon that on that I did have the card for the trading card game. By and large, this season is the one that's most remembered and most holds up. Other than the Edamon arc, which was a quickly rushed 7 episode stupor before the greatness of the Myotismon and Dark Masters arc, this series of the Digimon franchise succeeds in virtually every level by by introducing the world, characters, and things at a nice, easy level that anybody can understand. There's a reason why this season still holds up as everybody's favorite, and why everybody wanted a Digivice to call themselves the Digidestined. Prophecy does in fact have its positive points, seeing that in a way, Leomon wasn't just prophesizing about the team, he was also prophesizing about the success to come. Now, when I do Adventure 2, however, you'll get a slightly different skew, and it won't necessarily be the most positive thing. And until next time, live life by the code.